Hey everybody, okay, I'm 4 minutes late. I'm sorry about that. What I did was I actually launched another live stream by accident, and so I had to shut that one down and delete it, which is why this one's starting a little bit late. So my apologies about that, but I'll try to go overtime. I'm going to turn the fan down a little bit so there's not so much wind noise in the background. Okay, so if you're new to this, okay, so my name's Tom Basil, and I'm here to talk about board games. I'm here to take your questions. If you guys have questions, I will answer them. But a couple things here that are different about today. First of all, many times I get asked questions on these, which I don't often answer because I answer them all the time. So I made a geek list on Board Game Geek with frequently asked questions, but I forget about that sort of thing all the time. So I made a video of frequently asked questions, which will go live when this is done. All right, so when this is done, I have a FAQ that's going to go up, and that FAQ, you can basically, I don't know, it's for new people mostly, but I answer a lot of the frequently asked questions. Secondly, tonight we're going to have another live Q&A, but it's going to be a little bit different than this one. This one just asks me anything and everything, and I may or may not answer your questions. But tonight I want to do a town hall, I'm calling it. And what this is tonight is, this is at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You come in and we're going to just talk. I'm going to throw out ideas maybe that I have for the Dice Tower, and I want to have a stream of running consciousness with you guys. And you say, how come you don't do this? And I'll say, well, this is why we don't do this. Or maybe, it's a good idea. I'll bring a notepad. I'll write stuff down. You guys can throw ideas at me. We'll see. If this doesn't work, I won't do any more in the future, but it's kind of a way to work in that regard. So I'm going to answer some questions now. And so if you have something like that, like ideas for the Dice Tower, that's something that I would hold till tonight. So anyway, let's see some questions. Have I played Flam Rogue? I have not played that yet. It's on my shelf with 200 to 300 other games. Hey Tom, I had a friendly local game store get mad. I sold my used game to a friend while I was in his store and said to go outside. Was the store owner justified? I believe so. That's really kind of bad form to sell games in a store where that's already selling. Just take it to any other extreme. You're at a grocery store and I walk in and I'd be like, I'm selling apples. Who wants an apple? Even if that grocery store doesn't sell apples, it just comes across as rude. Now, some store owners allow you to sell games in their stores, and some are very strict about it. And I think you got to be careful how you handle it, right? I don't know what the situation was in that regard, but I will say that it's really important to take that into kind of consideration. That's their livelihood, and you're basically saying, hey, this person might have bought it from you, but they're not going to. And you can say, well, no, but there's no way, this game is out of print and stuff. But listen, just look at it from their perspective. And certainly you can, I would hope you can see it from that end. What's up with the weird costumes at the Board Game Geek Con during the Topps thing? Can't tell you. It just happened. All right? There's no other explanation for it. What Christmas music am I listening to today? Well, I have a Spotify list. And so I spend about half my time listening to my Spotify list and the other half going through Spotify trying to find really good Christmas music. For me, I'm looking for... What I do with my Spotify list is I don't want too many songs that are the same thing. So like, for example, if you sing the Christmas song, it better be amazing and different than any other version I have. Because I want the song titles to show up fairly in the same. I mean, I know there's some obviously songs that only one or two artists sings, but like Jingle Bells is probably the one I have the most of because I'm more tolerant with Jingle Bells. But there's a lot like Walking in a Winter Wonderland or whatever, where like every artist sings those. So the new one, kind of like my game collection, has to be better than one of my old ones. But I also kind of like a variety. I don't want to hear Bing Crosby sing every single song. I know that's anathema. I know everyone likes Bing Crosby, but I like other people too. And there's a few artists I have like every song they sing, like Roger Whittaker. I love his voice. I love the stuff that he sings. So I'm always on the lookout for, this is an interesting style. Like I love Dixie, so I like Dixie Christmas. Just something that's different. Like even Pentatonix, I really like their stuff, but I don't want it all to be that way. So I'm kind of just going through and like, who's this artist? I don't know who these people are. Let's listen to this Christmas music. Blech. Or, ooh, this is pretty interesting. And so I'm just looking for different stuff. I want to have like a 500 song Christmas list. I think it's like at 200 right now. That is just really cool and unique and refreshing, even if it has songs that other people might hate, because it's really for me. Like, for example, I got a SpongeBob SquarePants song that's Merry Christmas, Don't Be a Jerk, which I think the song is great. Probably most of you would dislike it. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking so much about Christmas music. Who's going to be on the cruise? It will be myself, Sam, Z, Eric, Jason, Robert, my webmaster, and I want to say that's it for contributors and people part of the Dice Tower. We can't bring everybody on the cruise this year, but if the cruise grows and stuff, maybe we'll have more in future years. Have I considered doing a top 10 Christmas songs? I might have. If you notice that the non-board game content has been lower of late, because we're really just trying to crank out as much board game content as we want. And so that keeps me busy. I might do something like that at some point or other. I know, like, off the top of my head, I know 3 songs that would make my top 10. Yeah, I would have to, like, really look at it and think about it for a while. Rado described Cottage Garden as a really good gateway game, and even better one than Ticket to Ride. Wow, I don't know about that. But it is an excellent gateway game. I would definitely use it in that regard. If I was making a top 10 gateway games right now, I would certainly highly consider Cottage Garden to make the list. How did you choose the names for your children? Well, remember, everyone's different. So rather than me say, what do you think about this name? And she says, no. What do you think about this name? And I say, no. I went and looked at hundreds and hundreds of names. And I made a short list of 20. And took the list to Laura and said, I like all these names. Is there any here that you like? Because if you like it, then boom, that's it. And that's the way it worked. That way, Laura does not like big choices. She likes smaller choices to pick from. And if she said she didn't like any of them, then I'd go make a list of more. But that was a lot faster than us going back and forth. So she really had the final say in what the children's names were. And I basically got to like go through the list and make a pile of names, which is something I like doing anyway. The only one I actually think I pushed for was Melody's name, maybe. I really like the name Melody. I might have pushed for that one, I don't remember, but I know for each of the other ones, we went through a long thing, and Laura picked out each of their names. What do I think about Sam's new relationship with TI3? There's not as big of a jump from 1 to 2 that you might think. Quick thoughts on Civ 6. I really enjoy it. Is it my favorite Civ? It could be that way. There's a few things. Someone said there's a new patch where you can rename your cities maybe now. I need to download that. I haven't played it. I play things like that in spurts, and it's just been too busy lately. Christmas is coming. Well, no, Christmas for me is not a very peaceful time of year because I'm getting ready for Dice Tower fundraiser. There'll probably be a weekend somewhere. How many duck ties do you have? 3, maybe? I have 1 rubber ducky and 1 regular duck. That might be it. Maybe 2. While you correctly deny there's a trend in legacy games, you think there's a trend in consumable games, that is, games with campaigns, kind of like Time Stories. Well, or like games that are like puzzle game in a box. There's definitely a trend for that. And we're going to see more legacy games. I now know of at least 5 that are in development of legacy games. When will we see them? Who knows? Like even the Gloomhaven isn't technically a legacy game since you can repackage the whole game. The box is huge. I'm kind of very much looking forward to it and a little scared when it comes in. What game do you think would benefit from a music CD? Almost every game. I would love that music in the background of almost every game I play. I'm really surprised Pyramid Arcade got 9 because you said 1 great game is better than 10 decent games. How many games in Pyramid Arcade have you played so far, and how do you like them? Well, that's the thing. I think there's some games in Pyramid Arcade, like the Queens one and Treehouse and stuff, that I think are actually really good games. I don't think they're mediocre or good games. I think they're really good games. By themselves, I might not keep them, but Zendo, is an amazing game. And for that, I keep Pyramid Arcade. Technically, you need a few more pyramids, which I may have scoured and gotten. But there you go. What term do you use to refer to people who are not into the board gaming hobby? It's not derogatory, that's for sure. Just I usually say non-gamer is what I normally say. Have I tried Santorini? I have not, but I believe Z has. I looked at it. I do plan to try it out. Question, despite the very successful Kickstarter this year, 4 full-time employees can't be cheap. Any chance you disclose a rough estimate of how much Dice Tower receives out Kickstarter? Is there a chance that you would disclose your salary to me? I don't mean to come across rude like that, but the majority of the Dice Tower's income comes from our Kickstarter that we run. There are other sources of income, like maybe from ads on YouTube and things like that. But I'm not going to give people a listing of how much money. Why? Because the question you just asked would be amplified even more. People would be like, can we see a list of your expenses? Then I would go to lunch and they'd be like, Tom, did you really need your lunch at Olive Garden? I think you could have brought a bag lunch at that convention. Things like that. It really would add up over time. And if someone walked up to me at a convention and bought a promo for $10, and then you said, "Oh man, Tom, did you need to sell that promo for that much?" And it's just a very sticky situation, and I'm really going to stay away from that. And this is honestly probably the last time I'm going to even respond to that, because I try to be as transparent with. We have taken in more money this year than we've taken in the past years. There's no question on that. But we are using that money. We are not getting rich off the Dice Tower. I hope that you've seen an increase in quality. I know that you've seen an increase in output. I am working really hard constantly. We're always trying to upgrade equipment and computers. We'll be upgrading our equipment. Even today is Cyber Monday, so we're looking around the internet. What new things can we get to help us be better editors at the videos that we do? You know, I get so many questions about Kingdom Death Monster that I really feel like I should put that in the FAQ, huh? But I'll answer it today once. Yes, it's an extremely popular Kickstarter. Fantastic. I'm glad people enjoy playing it. I'm not really that interested in, because one, it's super expensive. Two, there's a gabillion pieces to put together that I'm just not interested in putting models together. Three, the campaign features people with sticks essentially who die all the time. That doesn't really, I want to be more powerful in the game that I play. And four, there's a lot of extraterraneous stuff involved in the game, including pinups and just really X-rated stuff that I'm just not that interested in. All that combined, nah. Now, if someone else did a review of it for our channel, you might see that in the future. I don't know. But for me personally, Tom Vasel, I'm just not that interested. All right. Well, I'm really far behind on questions, and I apologize on that, so I'm going to try to answer some quickly. That's what I say every time. I've been eyeing that Escape Room in a Box game by Spin Master Games. Any thoughts before your review? Yeah, I like it. Full review tomorrow. Let's see here. Top 5 books you read in 2016. I don't know. I'd have to go back and figure out when I read the different books. You know, the one book I just read, I'm really bad at remembering titles of books. I think it's Off to Be the Wizard. Sounds right. It's this book about a guy who finds a file on somewhere, and he can edit things in that file and realizes that the file is like humanity in general, so he edits his height and he gets taller. And he's like, oh, and so he decides to be a wizard and go back to England. And that was a really odd thing to me. That whole going back to England part was kind of a really weird switch in the story for me. I really thought that the concept was cool, and it was cool throughout the book. The book was fine. It just was like, really? You have these cool things, and you're going to go back and live in medieval England? I'm sure that you have a great time there, but I like modern medical science. I don't know. It was just a little odd to me, some of that stuff. But it was an interesting book. I enjoyed that. I liked the Paper Magician series. That was a really good series. but I don't know what my top 5 books. So those are just ones I've been reading lately. Tom, how do you recover from gaming fatigue? It's where you don't feel like you enjoy gaming anymore. Well, if you don't enjoy gaming anymore, then don't game. Go do something else. I really, really believe that. Then come back if you want to. Sometimes I don't feel like playing games, but I do other things. Like Thanksgiving, we didn't play any games at all. We didn't even play party games. We just kind of sat around and enjoyed talking to one another. And to me, that's something that's just really fun to do. I was wondering what you think about games that release tons of expansions. Would you rather see a bigger full game release? I don't think so. I'm pretty content with, I mean, unless I feel like there was nothing in the base game. But for the most part, if they want to do a whole lot of expansions, I don't need to buy all of them. Some games I don't keep up with, like LCGs and X-Wing and all that jazz. But I don't know that the base game needs to be that huge. Like, for example, Eldritch Horror has a lot of expansions already. And that's fine. You don't need them all. The base game itself is going to keep you occupied for a long time. I believe you said you're not a fan of Kickstarters. No. I'm not opposed to Kickstarters. What would it take for you to invest in a Kickstarter? Well, mostly for it not to be a board game, probably. There's been a couple board games that, let's see, I'm trying to think the last board game that I backed, I think was one of those escape room in a box type games. But for the most part, I look at it and go, ooh, that's really cool. But I'm flooded with games that are out right now. I'll just wait till the game comes out in the market and then get it. It can be kind of frustrating if the game comes out and has a bunch of cool Kickstarter stuff that you can't get. But you know what? If that happens, boo to that company, because that just boggles my mind. Make some special artwork for Kickstarter backers. Make something unique. But to give them boatloads of content that you can't get elsewhere. I know Cool Mini or Not's done it. I know that Monolith has done it and other companies. And it's like, all right, that just seems crazy to me. Make that content available to people outside the Kickstarter. But you know what? If the game is that great, it will be fun even if I didn't back it. Going back to childhood, who was your favorite G.I. Joe character and Cobra character? Well, Cobra character is easy. It's the twins. I like the twins. For G.I. Joe, I liked Rock and Roll. I liked Sergeant Slaughter, of all people. Oh, Law and Order. Law and Order. That's what it was. Hey, Tom, why isn't Jason doing more reviews for the Dice Tower? Mostly because Jason has a job. But you are going to see Jason reviewing games with me. I mean, we're doing a series called Every Game is Awesome, and Jason and I are reviewing games. In fact, this week we'll be taking a look at Toria and Ponzi Scheme, and next week we'll be taking a look at a couple other games that he and I will be put together. He's also spending a lot of time putting that cruise together. But he's definitely, he might do more reviews in the future. We'll wait and see. But again, he has a job. What advice do you give for working so well and maintaining a relationship with people with very different worldviews without compromising your own? That is kind of a fine line to walk, right? I mean, to hang out with people who, I'm a Christian, and I hang out with people who are atheists or just other differences in worldviews, is that I try not to be offensive. I mean, that's what the Bible teaches that Christians should be anyway, is not to be offensive to others, that without compromising my own integrity. There are times where people say, do you want to do this? And no, I don't want to do that because for me, that's morally wrong to do so. And so it's kind of a fine line to walk. I'm not necessarily trying to always get in other people's faces, but I cannot compromise my convictions and values. Do you take into consideration a game's overall difficulty or barrier to entry when deciding whether or not to review it, or you just take whatever comes your way looks interesting? Yeah, I mean, there's some games I get, I'm like, oh yeah, well, oh, this game takes 4 hours? Yeah, that goes to the bottom of the pile. Thanksgiving was amazing. Thank you for asking. My wife put one turkey in the oven in the morning. Well, we put it in a brine. I mean, if you're going to make a turkey, you got to do it right. Then we both started cooking around 8, I think. And so this is what we made. I made some corn that I mixed with sausage and onion and some sauteed onions and stuff. So, but a lot of sausage and corn. So that was one dish. We had some carrots that we cooked in brown sugar. We had cranberry sauce. That was the one. That was the one lazy thing we did. Is just that I would buy cranberry sauce from a can. No one really in our house loves it that much anyway. Laura does something with sweet potatoes. I hate them, so I don't care. We made mashed potatoes. Really spiced them up, fluffied them up, and I I actually bought some melted cheese that you could pour on top of the potatoes if you want. And Laura made gravy from the turkey. I then fried 2 turkeys. Sam fried a 3rd turkey. The first turkey I injected full of garlic and butter. The second one full of barbecue sauce, which his name is escaping me, but I was watching Shark Tank and these ladies came on with barbecue sauce, which looked amazing. I don't know, I was just looking at it. And I ordered it. It really was amazing. And I injected the turkey with barbecue from the inside, folks. That is a good way to make a turkey. That turkey was really good. And then we made a ham and we had stuffing. I really worked hard on the stuffing and I added some extra special mushrooms to it. And yes, there's the obvious joke, but no. And some different ingredients, celery and onions that we sauteed, and some various spices. Oh, I forgot to say that, yeah, I found some pasta that looked like pumpkins, so I cooked that with some butter and some Happy Mouth seasoning. If you never had Happy Mouth seasoning, it's amazing. Kevin Berkey, the guy who is the king for Sheriff of Nottingham, he makes it, and it is great. Once you get it, you will never go back to other spices. So then when we were done with that, we had pies. I went and got 6 key lime pies. I got classic key lime pie. I got tamarind key lime pie. If you never had tamarind, it's a really delicious fruit. It tastes like sweet tarts almost, sweet and sour almost. I got a guanabana key lime pie. I got a mango key lime pie, a passion fruit key lime pie, and then a white chocolate raspberry key lime pie. I told the guys if they didn't want key lime pie, they need to bring their own. So Sam brought a pumpkin and a pecan pie, and I also bought a berry pie. And then there was some cookies and other stuff. It was ridiculously more than people should eat, but it was delicious. That was probably way more than you expected. And I just realized that this is not plugged in, so I better plug it in so that I don't lose power in the middle of this. Okay. Have you decorated for Christmas yet? Well, yes. My wife and kids always decorate for Christmas on Black Friday. So the Christmas tree is up and some decorations. I need to put lights inside the house, which is always funny. People are like, why don't you put lights outside the house? Well, 1, I hate doing that. And 2, I figure if I want lights, I want to see the lights, so I put them inside the house. But outside the house this year, I bought one of those things that shoots like red and green lasers all over the house, and the kids think that's cool. It's so easy to do, too. Are you going to replace your current copy of Kingsburg with a new version? Well, I need to play the new version first. Looks good. Are there people from Europe at a Dice Tower cruise? I don't know where everybody's from, actually. Which one of the Mars-themed games do you reckon is the best to date? Probably, I mean, so far it's Terraforming Mars. I don't know how Ignatius is from Portal, but I'm sure that one will be quite good. Did you play New Angeles yet? No, I haven't got a copy of that. You have great masks. I love seeing them. How many do you have and how do you store them? I probably have 30 or so of them, and I keep them in some drawers. What's your favorite game to play with a normal deck of cards? Probably Hearts, although I like the variant where the Jack of Clubs is negative 10 points. Why do you hate Bing Crosby? I didn't say I hate him. I just feel like he's overused, and so I don't want all my songs to be Bing Crosby. Is there any news on a possible reprint of The Adventurers? Should I hold off for a new version or try to find a first edition? I would hold off. Do I plan on doing the Dice Tower till I die? I plan on doing the Dice Tower in 2017. I do 1 year at a time. Let's see here. As I go through, what sauce do you recommend for hot dogs and French fries? Ketchup is lame. Ketchup is not lame on hot dogs. It is forbidden. Do not put ketchup on a hot dog. Ketchup for fries is okay, but fries are so many things that you could put on them. spicy mustard, barbecue sauce, ranch dressing, spicy mustard, Tom's mix of sauce. Heinz 57 is better than ketchup. It's not that much better, but it's better. There's really a lot of different sauces. I have a whole cabinet full of sauces, whichever one I'm in the mood for. Or better yet, what you do is you take a bunch of fries and put them in a bag, and then get one of those popcorn things like the ranch dressing or butter, whatever you want. Not butter, but probably ranch dressing is a good one. And shake that in the bag and then shake up the whole thing. It's really good. Did Z really dislike Fabled Fruit? He did. He said it was too simple, I think. How will you release your link to the Spotify playlist? I don't even know how to do that. I'm almost afraid to do that. I've been criticized for my music. Tom, I live in Los Angeles where there's a very large Latino population. Have you guys ever considered having Z do reviews in Spanish, like maybe the big ones like Tickets Ride? Not really, and I'll tell you why, because our channel is English. And if we had a separate Spanish channel, then that would be possible. Although Z speaks English as his first language. He speaks Spanish, but anyway, we'd have to have a separate Spanish channel, and that's not an area I'm willing to move into right now. There are other Spanish reviewers out there. Let us just concentrate on English for now. Did you have any fun Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchases? Not really. I haven't really made that many of them so far. Do you take games to restaurants? Not normally. I'd rather just eat at a restaurant and not game there. Let's see. I must be really behind because some of you are asking questions that I've answered a while ago. Why haven't you still verified your YouTube channel? I don't even know what that means. I'm pretty sure my YouTube channel is verified. The questions just jumped to the bottom. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see here. That's another question. I should get like a pad and write down frequently. People are like, so what game would be really good for like ESPN or an esports channel? And the answer is almost none of them. If you're wondering about that, watch us play games live and you'll be bored out of your mind. Any helpful tips on being an entrepreneur? You seem like a self-motivated workhorse. Well, that's really what it is, right? You have to work hard even when you don't feel like it. That's really how it works as an entrepreneur. People, you go to work, right? Because if you don't, your boss will fire you and you don't get your paycheck. I go to work because I have to. I get up and I work all day. I've done 6 reviews today so far. I've recorded the FAQ. I've edited the FAQ. I worked on the checklist for the Dice Tower this week. I answered some questions. I did some looking into buying things. I worked on the Kickstarter a little bit. There's a lot of things I've done, and it's 2 o'clock, and I feel like I'm a little bit behind in that regard. But there's tomorrow. Tonight, the family and I are going to go to Santa's Enchanted Forest as a family. Monday night's a good night to go because there's not many other people there. Santa's Enchanted Forest is like a carnival, except that the whole thing's with Christmas lights and everything. It's pretty cool. I would fully disclose my salary if I was asking for people to donate to my salary. You keep saying the Kickstarter's a donation. Well, it is a donation, and if you feel like my not giving you every detail of where each dollar goes is bad, then I really, please don't donate. I want you to donate to the Dice Tower if you like the content of the Dice Tower. But unfortunately, I'm just not going to disclose everything. I'm not going to disclose how much Z makes, how much Sam makes, how much Derek makes, how much I make, how much money we pay for computer equipment and how much we pay in taxes. It's just not going to happen. I apologize. All I'm going to say is just trust me. If you're not trusting me on that, then you're not trusting our reviews when we tell you if a game is good or not either. And I apologize for that, but I'm going to hold firm on that. Does a Container Store have a solution for my Dice Masters collection? Not that I know of yet. I haven't played any Calliope games in a while. I know some people are asking about running with the Bulls. I don't believe I've seen that one. I saw it, but I haven't played it. It hasn't shown up here anyway. Um, Tom, given the impotence of your faith, now I think you mean importance of faith in your life, why'd you step away from the Dice Depot? Was it purely a time commitment issue? It was somewhat, but Sam and Dan were willing to step up and do it, so I thought that would be a better fit for them to do that. I don't need to run all the podcasts. If you notice, I also handed off Board Game News. I handed off Dice Tower Showdown, which then, of course, kind of faded out. I handed off Board Game University. My goal is that Tom Vasel does not do everything on the Dice Tower Network. What was your biggest surprise at BGGCon? Probably Habitats from Quali. That was a really fun game. I'll be reviewing that later on this week. As a kid, did you ever play marbles for keeps? I never really played marbles. You know, the one game I thought was really fun was, I don't know if this came out in the early 90s or late 80s, was Squarbles or whatever, where there were square marbles and then you had a shooter that shot them. I thought that was kind of cool, but I never could shoot a marble very well, and it got kind of boring like 2 minutes into the game, so we never played marbles much at all. If there was anything I did with marbles is I would use Hot Wheel tracks and little Hot Wheel things, and I would set up a whole house and use paper towel rolls, and I would make this big marble track that would go from my room all the way down to the first floor until my mom told me to knock it off. But I loved doing that with marbles. Which dice do I remember has the biggest game collection? Easily Jason. After Jason, I don't know. I don't know about the people who are like in remote locations. I don't know about the people in the area. So of the ones of us who are here, it's Jason is the biggest. Then there's several people in our gaming group who have bigger collections, and then probably Z, Sam, and then me. I think I have the smallest of the collections. Sam has culled his though. Maybe Sam's is smaller than mine. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm not really quite sure. No chance of Vasel's Law hitting Star Wars The Queen's Gambit. Well, my law does take into account IPs, which is why Star Wars Queen's Gambit is probably not going to ever be reprinted because of the IP. I feel that 2016 has been weaker than 2015 so far. It's possible. I'm going to have to sit there and compare them. I know I made my top 10 for 2016 already. In fact, we're going to be recording that this week, but I mean, it might change as I play some more games, but highly doubtful. There certainly is a lot of great games, but I think 2015 is probably better, but that doesn't make 2016 bad. There's so many great games that come out every year. Zartan all the way? Zartan's okay. He's too cocky. Not like the Twins weren't, though. Let's see. Is the board gaming industry rapidly growing, steadily growing, slowly growing, stagnant, or in decline? Why? Well, it's steadily growing. Why? Because more people are playing games. That's just all there is to it. I mean, across the board, it's growing. It's growing in sales. Convention sales are growing. The number of board game companies that exist is growing. I can see that in the numbers of people watching YouTube channels about board games. Look how many reviewers exist now. Of video reviewers, there's probably like 80 to 100 of them out there. And most of them are trying to make money off it at this point with Patreons and such. There's a lot of people playing games. Had a great time meeting you at the Portal in New Hampshire. Will you return next year? Well, that was likely a one-time thing, I would imagine. Originating from the Allentown, Pennsylvania area, how do you feel about Billy Joel's song Allentown? I'm ambivalent towards it. Do you subscribe to Hot Sauce of the Month? I haven't subscribed to Hot Sauce of the Month. I keep thinking about doing that, right? But the fact is that my house is full of hot sauces already. I got whole cabinets full of them. And so I don't want to add to that. I'm trying to like whittle them down. I'm actually pretty far down. I'm probably down to 15 or less hot sauces at this point in time, but I was up to like 100. So we use hot sauce consistently. My whole family likes hot sauce. When my kids are 1 week old, I stick some hot sauce in their mouth to get them used to it. That's a lie. I don't do that. But I might do it when they're 1 year old. Or do I? Definitely don't do it when they're a week old. How do you keep all that food warm? I struggle to get all my stuff done near the same time so it's warm and ready. Well, what we did is we wrapped everything in aluminum foil, and then right before the guests came, late, we started rotating it in the oven, just keeping it heated up and everything. The fried turkeys I timed pretty well so that they would be done right when people came in. Same thing with the rest. Some of the food we timed towards the end, like carrots and stuff we did near the end. But it seemed to work well, pretty well overall with the Thanksgiving meal. I thought you didn't like pecan pie. Oh, I didn't. That's why Sam brought it. I didn't eat any of it. Don't ask Tom food questions. He'll be really far behind in the questions. That's true. Mustard is yucky. What? Mustard is amazing. I mean, yellow mustard is okay, but still better than ketchup. But I mean, like Dijon or Grey Poupon, and there's so many different kinds of delicious mustard. Habanero mustard is amazing. How else do you eat pretzels? Let's see. Why does everyone hate Steve Jackson? I don't know anybody who hates Steve Jackson. He's a really nice guy as far as I can tell. But I suspect you mean, why do people hate Steve Jackson games? I'm not even sure anyone does that. It's just that most people look at Steve Jackson games as Munchkin, or also for a while, not recently, but there was also Chess Geek and games that were similar to Munchkin. That's not all Steve Jackson's done. I mean, obviously they've done Ogre, they've done Revolution, they've done some other interesting games, but they're mostly known for their extremely light games like Munchkin, and some people just hate those and feel that Steve Jackson should be making better games. I think that Steve Jackson should make games that make them money. And I'm not a fan of Munchkin at all, but I do like some of the other stuff that they've done. Tom, I found out that Dominion will be printing new editions of the expansions with the larger font, no other changes. Well, it's probably just as well. If they make changes to every expansion, I think people would start blinking pretty fast, like, wow, I can't afford to do this. So if it's just a larger font, I would like to have the larger font, but it's not necessary. Why did you change up the graphics of the video stills? Because I wanted to. I like the blue hex background. Much easier to find your reviews and scrolling. Now it takes more time to differentiate who reviews on the fly. Well, I wanted to make it so that people could see the game. I thought the blue hexes were taking up too much of the background, so that's why I changed them. And I'm always trying new things. I'm always trying to change things. If you notice, I changed the intros to Board Game Breakfast the last couple weeks because I'm always trying to see. Like, one of the biggest complaints about the intros and outros for Board Game Breakfast was that there was no cohesiveness between them. So now I've added, hopefully, some cohesiveness to them, and we'll see. But it's one thing at a time. Like, look back is something that people said that had been asking for a while. So we added that. We try to make changes. We just can't make them all. So I tried new thumbnails. Some people don't like them. Some people do like them. I'll give it a while before I see where we land on them. Is it a bad idea to collect games that are one type of theme? I don't think, why would that be a bad idea? I mean, that's your thing. I wouldn't do it. I like games that encompass a whole bunch of stuff. But I mean, if that's what you like, go for it. Just realize if you meet someone who doesn't like that theme, then you're kind of up a creek. Any chance of a Dice Tower studio in the future? Oh, well, I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say. That was like one of the stretch goals in our Kickstarter this year until I found out how much it is. That is the main focus of our fundraiser in 2017. Really want to get a studio. We need to get out of here for several reasons. One The main reason, though, is that we're using this as an office and as a recording studio, and I really need them to be two separate things. We want to have a recording studio that we can have constantly in, where the cameras are set up and we don't have to move the cameras around so much. I'm really looking forward to that. Conquest of Nerath is the best Dungeons & Dragons board game no matter what Tom says. No, not quite. The best Dungeons & Dragons game is probably Lords of Waterdeep, although there's quite a few good ones. Did you know you were becoming famous in South Africa? Yeah, probably 10 people know who I am there. I was wondering if you could speak a bit about Kingdom Death Monster making $4 million in a single day versus Vast, the Crystal Cavern, not yet reaching 200,000, but being the more innovative game. I mean, Kingdom Death had pledges that were like almost just shy of $1,000. It has a lot of miniatures. People tend to like that stuff better. I know Vast has miniatures in their new Kickstarter campaign, and it's innovative and stuff, but, you know, people like what they like. It is what it is. You've mentioned that you don't always play the games the other reviewers in your channel review. If you were to start to playing with someone and then decided the game wasn't worth your time, yes, that has happened probably, but not normally. Sometimes I play a game and I'm like, what is this game? Then I'm reviewing it because I have words to say about that game. Tom, would you ever go to Jeff Engelstein's gaming day that he does yearly? Well, possibly if it wasn't 1,500 miles away. Some of you are asking questions that I'm skipping, but that's because they are in the FAQ, which will be posted probably within 10 minutes of the end of this live video. What's a game you can absolutely destroy Jason in? I'm sure there's something, but I'm not sure what. A game that has complete luck, I could destroy him in that if I was lucky. Let's see here. What do you think the hottest game of BGG-Con was? Don't say the Rodney Dangerfield game. Probably, and this is just me guessing, I would say it was Terraforming Mars, which I think would have been hotter had there been more copies there. But it certainly was the game that I feel like I saw people playing the most and getting excited about the most. I may be wrong on that one, but I think that one's going to end up being one of the hottest games of the year for sure. Not everyone likes the game, obviously, but it certainly is getting a lot of positive buzz. Tom, please make it easier for us to find out how to vote on certain things like top 10s. Okay, well, you said you searched Dice Tower and you couldn't find a link, so I'm going to go to DiceTower.com right now. And if you go to DiceTower.com, there's a thing at the top that says Board Game Top 10 and 100. And when you go over that, it brings up a menu, and at the very bottom menu, it says Vote in capital letters. Maybe I can make that better. Maybe I can make it red. I don't know, but that's definitely where you could vote for a top 10 list. Let's see. Do I have a Christmas Day game planned for the family? Not really, but I haven't really thought about Christmas. Christmas is on a Sunday this year, so we'll be spending a good chunk of our time at our church. And then I'll be making my Christmas dinner of shrimp and sausage. Why is that a Christmas dinner? I have no idea. It's just what I do with key lime pie, because that's also what I do. How much of a difference has it made having Derek helping out with the camera work and editing? A ton. If you notice, I'm consistently putting out 10 to 15 videos every week, and that's because of Derek. And I'm able to handle a lot of other things too. So that's exciting. Let's see here. Is there any place you can go to your area for authentic Korean food? Not right where I'm at, which is unfortunate. I know that there's Korean places in Miami, but we don't go to eat pretty much far outside of a 20-mile radius from our house. So it is what it is. Wow, there's a whole lot of different expansions here. I mean, questions, sorry. Did I say expansions? Well, that was a slip there. Just had my first child. How does gaming change when you have kids? How did your hobby change? I feel like I played more games after kids. I've always been a little surprised when people say kids interfere with their gaming because with children you can enforce a bedtime. I know that it's hard to say no to kids sometimes, but really, my kids, they went to bed at 8. We don't go to bed at 8, so we had 8 to whenever we went to bed to play games if we wanted to. Now, I do understand people say, I'm exhausted and all that jazz afterwards, and that's, there's not much I can do about that. But even like, well, I can't go to game night. Well, you can if you just take turns or whatever. My wife doesn't want to go to game night, so I go to game night, and then she wants to go do something else. She can do that. I'll watch the kids. And now, of course, once you get enough kids, you can have them watch each other. It makes life easier in the long run. But I never really felt that it changed up that much because we really strictly enforced bedtimes with our kids. Our kids went to bed at 8 o'clock. I mean, we let them stay up later as the years went by, but when you do that, yeah, they'll complain up the wazoo at the beginning, but after a while they get used to it. There's no more complaining. Not when they're babies, obviously, but we had all our kids trained to sleep through the night and go to bed at around 8 o'clock by 6 months at the most. Do I know any promo codes for Cool Stuff Inc? I don't think so. I think they're having pretty good sales as it is right now. I have not been really following a lot of stuff on the internet in regards to Cyber Monday, except for like I'm looking at different software and equipment for the Dice Tower for the most part. Let's see here. People are saying hi to each other. Did you play any sports in college? Not on purpose. My college required us to take a PE class in each of our 2 freshman years. So the first time I took soccer, which I took beginning soccer. And beginning soccer really threw me because I went into it and I expected the coach to be like, this is a soccer ball. But he didn't. He's like, all right, we'll line up over here and you're going to run circles around here and you're going to do that. And I was like, what just happened? I don't know any of this. And I was horrible. When they would pick teams, I was the last person picked. There was another boy who was horrible and he was picked before me. I hated that class. I just wasn't good at it. I was too skinny. I know what you're thinking. Then the second semester, I took beginning ice skating because I wanted to learn how to ice skate. And wow, that class was amazing for 2 main reasons. One, I learned how to ice skate. Great. And I love ice skating. It was so much fun. Once I figured out how to ice skate in the class, I could spend sometimes the whole hour, or I forget it was 2 hours, I don't remember how long the class was, just skating and just really relaxing. 2, when I first went to the class, I got nervous about 2 minutes before the bell rang because I thought, did I make a mistake and go to an all-girls class? Because almost everyone in class was a girl. And as it turned out, there was 4 boys and 26 girls, which I thought was a pretty good ratio. And I got a lot of dates out of that class. It was ice skating with people, and you ask them out on a date. I did not end up, nothing really came out of that, but it did help me get over my fear of speaking to the opposite gender. I had a very difficult time doing that. Am I planning on playing Arkham Horror LCG? I'm probably going to play it at some point. It's on my shelf to be played. If you guys would excuse me, my throat's a little. Let's see here. Tom, do you ever need any web help? I'm a developer and love gaming. And the Dice Tower, that's actually one of the things I answer in my FAQ. But if you're ever interested in helping, you can email me. But it really helps me if you're like very specific on what you can help, because I get people like, oh, I can help. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like when somebody is sick and you're like, if there's anything I can do, let me know. but they never ask because they don't really know what to ask you, and you never do anything because people have very specific skills. So when someone says, hey, Tom, I'd love to help you do show notes for the Dice Tower, I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually something I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, we can set that up and do it. If you're ever in Washington, I'd love to take you to a great chicken and waffles place. Okay. You have to remind me if I ever come up to Seattle. Let's see here. Will I be doing any more me versus the internet games anytime soon? Probably. I've been thinking about that. That's not a bad idea. So that might be an interesting thing to do. Tom, is it a good idea to throw a few empty cards out in Mystic Vale? I feel the game is over before you have a big card in play. Well, you could always just add more points to the pool if you feel like that. That will make the game last longer. You'll get bigger and cooler cards in play. I've done that before, and I don't think it hurts the game that much, but I would only do that in a two-player game. Any plans to do more negative top 10s? Things like the top 10 games you hate have me laughing out loud. Well, I understand that. There's two reasons. One is that I want there to be more positive top 10s than negative ones because the hobby is a positive thing. And two, I usually save those negative ones for conventions. Plain peanut butter or pretzel M&Ms? Well, peanut butter M&Ms I don't think I'd eat because Reese's Pieces already has that nailed. It's plain or pretzels. I have a weird hang up that I don't like peanut M&Ms. I don't like nuts in dessert. I love nuts. I love dessert. Really not a fan of combining them. Isn't Kemet and Cyclades basically the same game? You have not played them if you say that. Reese's Pieces is better than peanut butter M&Ms. Yes, that's what I just said. Excellent. Bacon is better than everything. Bacon is one of those things that's kind of ridiculous on how cool it is to like it. Don't get me wrong. That was another thing I made for Thanksgiving. I forgot. I made some baked beans with some bacon and some barbecue sauce. Oh, they were great baked beans. Bacon has its place, right? Bacon on a hamburger, bacon in a sandwich, bacon and beans. And there's a lot of actual uses for bacon. Bacon bits and salad really makes a salad better. But this whole bacon makes everything better. It's almost like a sheeple type thing. It's like everyone else says bacon's good. It must be amazing. It's okay. It's not like it's that fantastic. And I know it's cool to say that bacon is cool. I just wish people would say like what they really like to eat, not just bacon because everyone on the internet makes jokes about bacon. What's your favorite show segment that you do on the Dice Tower? Top 10s are probably my favorite, but I do like Board Game Breakfast a lot. I also like doing these Q&As. I mean, if I don't like doing it, I probably won't do it. So there's that. BH Photo Video for Cyber Monday details. All right, I'll save that one and look that one up later. If you had to choose, okay, let's see. Ooh, am I almost caught up on questions? That's because I'm skipping lots of them, and I apologize for that. But let's see, I am catching up on questions. Ghost in the Shell, Kong Skull Island. Thoughts on these trailers? Ghost in the Shell, I'm having a hard time. I'd never seen the anime or read the comics or know anything about it other than the name, so the thing was a little confusing to me. The Kong Skull Island looks really good. Yes. I'm very excited about that one. Let's see. Dice Tower Con website seems to be down. It is not. I just checked it. My girlfriend wants you to say, hi, Ariel. Hi, Ariel? No, I can't do that. I apologize. I can't say hi, Ariel on the Q&A. Let's see. Oh, that's creepy. Let's see. What was your favorite thing you ate while in Essen? Well, actually, It was probably the Mongolian barbecue we went to. I don't know why. I just really like that Mongolian barbecue. But, man, I ate so many good things there. There also was a really good Korean restaurant we went to there. But the German food was fine. I don't think there's anything I didn't like. Wow, I guess I shouldn't have said that thing about bacon. Everyone's getting all crazy about bacon. Um, what are the top 5 Smash Up expansions? Isn't there only like 6 of them? I think you mean factions. I might do that sometime. How much time do you spend managing social media for the Dice Tower? I actually spend a good chunk of time on that. If I was If I had, in a perfect world, if I was hiring someone next, I need to hire a secretary probably to handle a lot of this stuff. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Or it's how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as he could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Let's see here. Do you ever regret your Vasco da Gama review? Oh no. How many tickets are left for Dice Tower Con? I don't know. Or am I expecting the same number of people this year compared to last? Oh, there's already more people signed up this year than last. By far. That's very exciting. Don't miss out. It will sell out. Don't miss your ticket. Lemon pie, the best pie? Oh no, lemon meringue pie is great, and it's in the top 10, but it's not better than key lime. I'm caught up on questions. That's exciting. My favorite 80s cartoon, G.I. Joe or Transformers, one of those two. Although I also like the Seven Cities of Gold. That's one no one ever talks about, but I love that cartoon from Nickelodeon. I think that was 80s. DuckTales, although was DuckTales 90s? DuckTales might be 90s, right? But G.I. Joe and Transformers, Voltron, although Voltron, none of those shows aged very well, but I really liked them. Yeah, those were cool shows. Let's see here. How many videos do you put out? Well, my goal at this point is like to have 5 or 6 a day, with the exception of Monday. Usually Monday only has 3 or 4. Today I believe there's 5 videos today. Yeah. So that's an unusual Monday, I guess. But for the most part, 5 or 6 videos a day. And we try to have one video each day of something unique and special. Like tomorrow will probably be the review of the escape room game. That's my video for tomorrow. And Thursday will be Board Game Blender. And so there's different things that are the that's a very descriptive term. That's the Dice Tower way. We know how to talk about games. All right, let's see here. Mysterious Cities of Gold, that's what it was. That was like one of the only cartoons I know of that really had a great, like it was a continuous storyline. It was really good, unless, of course, you didn't get to see each part. But that was pretty cool. There are 8 Smash Up expansions. Well, there you go. I'm not going to list my top 5, though. Remember Battle of the Planets? I do not remember that. Let's look that up. Battle of the Planets cartoon. Did I ever see that one? Do not think I ever saw that cartoon. Sorry. Okay, let's see. What's my favorite TV show currently? Well, it's Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank. But if you mean like... I just started watching Supergirl. I haven't seen it at all, really, and I watched it last week, and I was really impressed by it. I mean, really impressed by it. It's like the total opposite of DC movies. Here you see a person who's like excited to be a superhero, and she's thrilled, and she's not there as a sex symbol. She's there because she wants to do what's good. Oh, man. Now, I'm only up to like episode 10 of the first season, but really, really enjoying that one. My kids are super pumped because I guess this week there's a 4-way crossover. They're like extremely excited about that. I'm sure I would be if I was watching all 4 shows. They mostly just like Flash, but let's see. Seven Cities of Gold was an old computer game. Well, that's a different thing. That was also a good game, yes. Would you consider uniform rating system for reviews? I missed the approved and excellence when others when you review. Well, possibly, and that's something I like you if you're around tonight for our town hall meeting type thing. That's what I like. That's the kind of thing I like to talk about and just feel people out. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're not going to be talking about food and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. We're talking about the future of the Dice Tower, and I'd like to get some feedback and hear from you guys about that. Can you spell the video of the day sound effect? I don't know what that means. Oh, I know what you're saying. You mean the is that what you mean? I believe it's B P S H A W. No, B P P. This is the dumb stuff we waste our time on in Q&As. Star Blazers. I don't think I saw that one either. I did not watch a lot of TV as a kid. So it was, when I did see something, I enjoyed it. Did not see Star Blazers. I'm sure the stuff's great. I just haven't seen it. Well, I think that is pretty much everything. Vikings Gone Crazy, I think is coming out. Vikings Go Wild is coming out next year. That's pretty good. Anyhow, okay, so I apologize, but that's all the questions I'm going to answer now because I need to record a couple more reviews, and then we're going to go to Santa's Enchanted Forest. And then I'll come back and do the town hall thing. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, so about 10 or 15 minutes from now, you will see if you're looking for the Dice Tower FAQ, it's like 15 minutes long. I'll try to put links into it with the questions so you can jump directly in the video to whichever question that you're interested in finding out about. So I'll try to get that together, and that's already uploaded and processed. I just need to add the thumbnail and make it live. So I'll do that about 10 to 15 minutes from here. And so, as usual, I apologize again for being late and that weird starting 2 live streams at the same time. I don't, these things happen sometimes. But, all right. So, thank you, everybody. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower live. Well, that's that. We represent the Lollipop Guild. Lollipop. Let's get that Christmas music going over here. Oh, yeah.